Welcome to Disturbed. We're talking Chapter 2, the American Horror Story Roanoke. We have an official name podcast, and I am one of your hosts. I'm Rob Southgate. With me is
Chris Mao.
And apparently my freaking cat, right there, is here too. So expect some crunching, maybe some barfing. We got cats. It happens.
Maybe some crotch licking. You know, there's all the good stuff.
Hey! I'm going to turn
my cat's coming to check it out. So.
Yeah, look at the mess behind me. It is chaos. I don't know if you can see. Actually, I'm going to make you see. Look at that. You want to know what that is?
No.
That is the top of my head has disappeared. That is lighting, tripods, all this stuff that we were able to get as upgrades for the podcast marathon. So thank you, everybody that contributed to Kickstarter. We have, I think it's over. I think it ended.
Yeah.
So that's it. We did our thing, and that is it. So thank you, everybody that supported. If you didn't support us, we'll give you another chance another time. How's that?
You can send the checks right to me. That's okay.
Yeah, and I've got the lights on above me trying to fix the lighting in here, but last night, I'm banging my microphone. I was playing with the new lighting we have. We have one of those big overhead lights. I'm going to have to do something so it doesn't reflect off my bald spot. And then we've got a couple other lights. So I'm going to start playing with that here and see if we can't make this look better.
Nice.
Because trust me, it can.
And it may not be much effort, but that's okay. So.
Okay, so we're going to officially make this thing go right now. We already did the intro. This episode was crazy, man. This was crazy.
Yeah, it was. It seemed like it ran a little short too.
Didn't it feel? But you know what? I think that's because it went fast. Because once that second half hit, man.
Oh yeah, once
it felt like it just like zip, and I was like, "What? We're over?"
No, it was a little. I mean, they say the runtime was 42 minutes, but it wasn't because they were off really early. It seemed like when I rewatched it on FX now. But still, it was great. There was a lot of stuff in here, and I thought it was an unbelievable episode. So,
okay, I'm going to go right to the very first part of it when he came down the stair, or when he was having the dream, when Matt was having the dream.
Hold on, yeah, okay. We're not even at the first part then, because
okay, I'm so excited to talk about that.
I'm excited too. So,
wait, I want to address something else. I'm going to interrupt you now. Here, okay. I was wrong. I think I'm wrong. Did you go back and listen to last week? Because
I have a memory sometimes.
Okay, I can't remember. I had that big theory about what was real and what wasn't. If you watch, even in the first episode, when they first show Cuba Gooding Jr., that part of it, that I think I was saying I thought that was reality, and the other part was reenactment. When they show the Cuba Gooding Jr. part, it says dramatic reenactment. Okay, so, and then it says it again in this episode.
Right, it does, because it's supposed to be, that's what they want us to believe, that that's a reenactment. Our theory was that, I thought this is the way I understood it, and this is what I was thinking, is that the thing that they say is a reenactment is real, and then that Lily Robbie and Andre Thompson are actors acting like them and doing the found footage. That's what I think. Because before we get into the show, Ryan Murphy it's Ryan Murphy, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Brad Falchuk and Ryan Murphy.
Right. So he did an interview, and they were talking about this season, and they basically say it's broken up into 3 parts: 1 through 5, 6 through 9, and episode 10.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
There's a big twist coming in episode 6, and I believe it's going to be something along the lines of what we talked about, where what we see is not what's actually happening, and it's something, whether it's in somebody's head or it's made up, or the roles.
I hope it's not in somebody's head. That's one of those things. It's like a deal breaker, though.
Right.
If you've been watching this whole thing and then it's like, oh, that wasn't even what the show is about, and that's going to be a deal breaker for me. It wouldn't be a deal breaker if what we were just saying is what happens.
Right.
Okay, that would be totally fine for me. And also, if what we are seeing is reality, if that is a reenactment, we're seeing them do their real thing, but it's not a ghost story, because we're being led to the assumption it's a ghost story.
Correct.
And if it turns out, and this might be what the twist is, they're not ghosts, those are freaks that live there. Those maybe they're the original Roanoke people that have never evolved, and they've lived in this thing, doing their thing. The hillbillies are actually the ones like protecting them. What if the Polks are just keeping them, like keeping their secret? It's almost like the Village.
Well, that's what Kathleen and I talked about it, because she saw it and then went crazy.
Did she?
Well, number one, she watched it and it videotaped on our DVR, and then we set it over, so because sometimes the show goes a little bit longer. So she goes, "Did you see the ending part?" I'm like, "What ending part?" I go, "As soon as the credits roll, they go." She goes, "After the credits, there's this other scene." And then we went back and watched it. It was actually the beginning of the second episode. Because it recorded later back to back. So I mean, the whole thing we're going to talk about in a minute. But she was like, "What if it's like the Village?" And I go, "That's unbelievable, because that's a great theory. And what if the Polks are relatives of theirs that just haven't gone back to the
right, or they're the ones protecting them?" Now, wait, there's another thing that I noticed when I was watching the second episode.
Okay.
I don't know what this means, okay? But when they showed the scalped guy, it looked incredibly fake. If you watch that, it looks incredibly fake. When we saw it the first week, it was so quick, it was dark, you didn't really notice it. The second time, it was lit a lot better, and I'm like, why is it so fake? And then I started wondering if there was something else going on there, like if this is a setup for a reality show and those are actors playing that stuff out. I mean, yes, he may be an actor in the reality show reenactment, or if we're going with the idea that that's reality that we're seeing, maybe the reality is it's that. Because, when they released all those little promo things and they said some of these things match up to the season, some of them don't, we've had clues, like the house, okay, Roanoke, we know is real, but we don't know all those things. And they were big on that one picture that looked like Creature from the Black Lagoon, which is supposed to be like, a monster movie,
right?
And it made me kind of wonder if there's something there, like they're confusing, or they're doing all this and it's going to turn out to be some elaborate reality show that they're caught up in the middle of.
Right, that they put these people out here and like, we're going to scare this unsuspecting couple who bought this house. And, Jeff Probst is going to show up all of a sudden and be like, "Hey,
Jeff Probst.
How you doing?"
Right.
Chris Harrison from The Bachelor will be there.
You've been voted off the island.
That would be a fantastic twist. But, yeah, maybe. I mean, there's, I think there's all sorts of possibilities, because they, as usual, put a lot of crumbs out there.
Yeah.
Open a lot of doors, and you don't know which one they're going to go through, because they're going to sit there. So.
All right. Did we do the beginning then? We talked about the reenactment thing at the beginning. I interrupted you. You go.
Yeah, that's right. So the beginning ends where the first episode, or the second episode begins where the first episode ends. She's out in the woods, like kind of surrounded by these weird people. That's one of them scalped. That's led by Kathy Bates.
We see Kathy Bates like stick a nail in some guy's butt.
Well, that's a little bit late, or is that in that part?
No. She did it right there, but we see it again later.
And then you see Lady Gaga with the guy's scalp acting all weird, like some kind of crazy witch. And then
which was awesome.
Which was awesome. Then we see Wes Bentley as the very stern pilgrim.
What?
The guy with the black hair is Wes Bentley. You know who Wes Bentley is?
I know who Wes Bentley is.
Yeah.
When I saw his name in the credits, I watched it with Martha this time. She doesn't watch the show. And I said, I didn't see Wes Bentley. That's who he was. Oh,
Wes Bentley is one of the pilgrims. He's just sitting there looking. He's all stern, like when they go, he's been a pig and he's stolen stuff, and they kind of flash into him, so he's in the woods.
Yeah.
And then she runs out after seeing some really freaky stuff. Number one, they do the scalping. Number two, she's running around. She runs into Kathy Bates doing some kind of ritual to a guy that stole some stuff, and they basically put a pig's head on him, pin a pigtail on his butt, and then
that's what she's playing pin the tail on the
thief.
On the thief, yeah.
On the sinner, whatever.
We're going to do that at the podcast marathon, only it's going to be your face.
Sounds great.
Pin the tail on your face.
I appreciate that. So it's better than shooting a disc at my face from your thing. So
we're not going to do that either. We're not going to do that.
It's very Salem-like. It was a very kind of Salem-y, witchy kind of thing.
Yes.
Kathy Bates is crazy. And then we get to the more current kind of stuff after that. So I thought that scene was really good. Very period. Very. I liked it because it showed a lot of different stuff,
It was crazy. And I did have that little bit of flashback to season 3 when Kathy Bates had the slaves slung up. And when the way that guy was and she was acting like that, I was like, oh, they're kind of doing her again.
Sure.
They're not, obviously, but there was that little bit of allusion to it, which I totally dug.
Although this might be the worst character she's played, and she's played a lot of bad characters.
I don't know. That character in season 3 is going to be a tough one to beat.
Yeah.
I'm going to take slaves and skin them and hang them up and let them bleed out and just be in pain. And then I'm going to burn my house down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then be cursed to live forever, but that's okay. So, and then we go on to, we go back to the house, which is what you were talking about. So,
yes. Okay. So we're doing the house now. A couple of things at the house before we get into that. We're not going to go beat by beat, but as long as we're kind of doing the intro,
right.
We're going to call this section Bad Choice a Go-Go. First of all, they don't leave the house. She has this thing. She's been attacked in the hot tub. He saw all the people with the flames. She was out in the woods, got confused, saw a guy getting a pigtail stuck to his butt. They saw a video with the pig, and they don't leave. Lee, her husband, brings their daughter to stay. What bad choices?
Well, it is. It's bad. I mean, it's just obviously these people have a lot of problems, and they just can't.
That's an understatement.
But what horror story is not full of bad choices? If everybody makes a good choice, there's no reason for Freddy to come out and kill you or Jason Voorhees to stalk you, even though he will aggress against you. But if you're at Camp Crystal Lake, if you're not there, you're not going to get killed.
Well, it reminds me of that Eddie Murphy bit when he was talking about Amityville Horror. And he said, this would have been a very different situation if a black family had moved in. They walk in, the walls start to bleed. You hear, "Get out." And they go, "Okay, we're leaving. We're out of here." And it's like, that's exactly what I'm watching this going, at what point? Now, I understand Cuba Gooding Jr. is thinking it's a race-related thing. He's not buying at this point into the spiritual, mystical elements of it, but she definitely is. She's all touchy-feely yoga. She knows there is something messed up, whether it's the Polks or whether it's something else, she knows.
Right.
But Lee, having her daughter there, and there's a line, and I didn't write it down, but she said a line right when her daughter got there. It was like in the voiceover, basically about, this place is messed up. I just thought I needed a little normalcy. So she has her daughter come. Right. And it's like, wow, you're so narcissistic. This is all about you at this point. You have to know this isn't a safe environment for this daughter. No, regardless if you're scared or not. You've only been there a couple of days.
But that might play into her total addiction and alcoholism or whatever she's got going on.
Which comes up, yes.
Because, I can control this. She goes, well, I thought if she stayed inside and I watched her, she'd be okay. Huh?
What?
Yeah.
What? I think I just saw your cat walk in the background. Oh, no. That was Kathleen.
Yeah, there's I'm going to close the door in a second.
No, that's all right, man. But yeah, it was crazy that they stayed. It was crazy that she had her daughter there. The stuff with the daughter.
Yes.
Okay, let's do that before we get to the awesome stuff that's going on.
Right.
Okay, seriously. First of all, the daughter should not be there. Second of all, that whole thing of the daughter plays hide and seek.
Yes.
And really hides to the point that they can't find her. First of all, that is a terrifying game as a parent.
Yes.
Martha came up with a game called Hide and Go Scare, where it's hide and go seek, but the person who's hiding, if you get too close, they jump out at you and go, "Ah!" And it's a lot of fun, but it's this actually plays on your worst fears as a parent. Because the kid, kids, man, they'll hide. Is she doing some construction back there? What's going on? Is there work in there? She's going to pull out her tool belt. Yeah, I got some work to do.
The buzzsaw's going to go. It's going to be awesome. So
she thinks we're doing home improvement.
Yes.
I need more power, Chris. That might be the worst impression I've done yet, and that's saying a lot. But that whole thing with the daughter when she's playing hide and seek, to me that's a living nightmare. And in fact, I had a nightmare last night, and I think it might be because of that little thing. But then when she disappears and she's up in the closet, no, actually even before that,
that was Sixth Sense, wasn't it?
It was totally Sixth Sense.
I was just like, oh my gosh! So I'm waiting for Haley Joel Osment to come out. So with a beard, it'd be great.
Right. Wasn't he in? Was he in Red State? He was in one of those. Yeah, he was in Red State. I think one of the Kevin Smith movies. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, I think it's Red State's the one he's in. It's either that or
he's in Tusk. He's in Tusk, isn't he?
Is he in Tusk? Oh, he's the friend in Tusk. Yeah.
Yes, he's a friend.
Yeah, that's what you. So maybe they're going to turn him into walruses. Maybe this is all an elaborate ruse, and they're making fun of Kevin Smith. That'd be awesome.
Kevin Smith pops out, hey,
yeah, hey, watch Yoga Hosers. There's Bratzies in it.
That's right.
But the scene where she was standing and talking to the wall. I mean, we've seen this kind of thing before. But what was really funny about that is there was a show on last year. It was not good. I'm not telling people to go and binge this, but it had it was Lily Rabb was in it. It was called The Whispers. Did you watch this show?
I did not, but I wanted to.
It looked great.
Yeah. The trailer looked awesome. So
it was not great. In fact, by about the third episode, you were like, please cancel this show because I feel obligated to watch it, but it needs to end. And I made it about 5 episodes, and then I finally went, done, man. It was terrible. Lily Rabb's great in it, of course. But the kid, the beginning part, the kid is doing that exact same thing. The bushes are moving. She's standing over there talking to the bushes. And you see the bushes moving, and Lily Rabb's like, who are you talking to? She's like, my friend. And there's nothing there. It's a bush. Then inside the house, she's standing and talking to a wall. I thought they might have been playing with that because of the whispers.
Well, they might have been, but I mean, that's kind of Sixth Sense-y. And
it's been in a million things.
She wasn't talking to a wall. She was talking to the door to the basement.
That's right. It wasn't the wall.
Right, but it does look like the wall. When they look at it first, you're like, what the heck? And then she pulls up and they're looking down in the basement. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no. And you know what? I'm not going in that basement. That looked like a terrifying basement. So then she's in and then there's a scene later where she's in the closet.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was waiting for something.
Was this the part that just about killed you? Because this just about killed me, what the girl said.
Oh, yeah.
When they're like, she's saying she's talking to her friend and everything. And then she says, they're going to kill us all. I was trying to give him my doll. They're going to kill us all. And they're going to do me last, or they're going to kill me last. It's like that. Yeah. That was horrifying.
Yes.
Horrifying. I do want to make a note here that I'm looking at our chat, and Danette did say she watched The Whispers. It started out great, but ended poorly. It started out great, but it limped along after about 2 episodes. It got really bad really fast. So I think he changes his mind when they watch the video. Oh yeah, you know what? I think that Matt did change his mind there, but I think he really changes his mind not just with the video, but when he when he has the dream that we're going to talk about in a minute. That's where it all comes true in his mind.
Really, up until that point, he has not seen anything unnatural. He had just seen things that were weird, like, oh, there were people in the house. Oh, that could all be explained. Because even when they do
the pitchforks and
even then when they do the reality show interviews, he's like, well, I really wasn't sure what it was, but I could explain it. And then he makes the line where he goes, it's amazing how much you can rationalize. And then from that point on, he was totally wanting to leave.
Now here's another interesting thing that I wonder about, Chris. When he sees, we didn't talk about this last week, but when he sees them come up with their torches,
right?
He's watching it on video.
Mm-hmm.
They look like fully formed people. If these were ghosts,
mm-hmm.
would they look like fully formed? Would it be that clear that it looks like a movie?
Well, it looks like when you see them in the forest, they look like full people. When you see them,
yeah, but this is on video,
right? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that was the family trying to scare them. Maybe there's a whole bunch of different things involved.
Oh, a bunch of things going on here.
Right, and then when we get to the Dennis O'Hare part, which we'll talk about,
my favorite part.
It is. It's fantastic. It's
so fantastic. Okay, what part do you want to talk about?
Well, so there's all sorts of things happening with Flora's there. They say that she's they're going to kill me last. So her father takes her back home. Is like, you're never coming here again. And then,
I'm surprised he dropped her off the first time. Right. She already knows that the mom has some issues, and this is way out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, maybe there's visitation, but if he could pull that kid out of there, I'm sure she doesn't have the rights. That was being kind to her.
Probably. Yeah, and trying to do that. So, but like after all of this goes down, Lee, who's a recovering alcoholic, gets completely hammered, and then they see the couple that Matt and Shelby see a little girl standing out in the middle of the yard, which they've never really seen anybody there besides the police.
Now, did you think that was a girl? I know they said it was a girl, but at first when I saw it, I thought it was Kathy Bates.
It looked to me like a little black
like
girl,
a girl. Okay.
But I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't know if Priscilla's friend is black or not or whatever, but it looked to me like it was a little girl because I thought she had a bonnet on, and that's one thing that that Flora said is that Priscilla, the funny girl that has a bonnet.
Yes.
So
yeah, she was. I thought that too. She was definitely talking about that girl. But when we first saw it, I thought, "Ooh, Kathy Bates is escalating." You know what I mean?
It seems like Flora wants, Priscilla, who is the girl ghost, wants to help the family because she wants this all to stop. That's what she says. So I think she was trying to let them know let the family know, hey, there's something going on out here. But she basically is standing on the doors to a cellar that's kind of far away from the house, and then they go down in there. And I'm thinking all sorts of bad stuff is going to happen, and nothing really does in the cellar. But they go down there, and it looks like somebody lived there. It looks kind of like a bomb shelter, but it's a cellar. But there's that old.
Well, that was a. Oh wait. Are you talking when they saw? You're talking about the Dennis O'Hare part, right?
Yes.
That's a root cellar that they were in.
Right.
So it's out in the yard. That's how it used to be. They'd have them out in the yard. You open it up, and it's almost like refrigeration because it's so cold under the ground there. Right. So that's where all their preserves are. They put salted meats, all that kind of stuff. That's what that was. So we're talking an old ass room.
Right.
That's what that was.
Well, and so they go down there, but it looks like somebody was living down there. And then there's this like old school video camera that's like it would be from like a 90s movie, and obviously that's when it's from.
Right.
You're thinking, what the heck is going down here? Were they torturing people or something? But alas, it's a video with Dennis O'Hare in it playing a guy who came to the house. So if you want to talk about that.
And I love how he says, I'm not crazy. I'm not making this up. This isn't anything. I am an academic. I'm an author. I came here for a reason. And like his story, like I'm listening to it going, I so bought his story, and his fear was so real.
It was palpable, yeah. I mean, if you look at his eyes, they're if you watch the scene, and I don't know if Danette notices or not, I can't see it, but like he starts out, he's irrational, but his eyes were normal, and then there's the part where he says, "Well, I'm not ever going back in that house," and then like 30 seconds later, he goes, "Well, I have to go back there and confront it." His eyes are really dilated, like he just all of a sudden got crazy. Yeah,
like, I noticed it too.
It was like amazing. You're like, because it's obviously large in the screen, but you're like, oh my god, that was a really good.
Yeah, like he all of a sudden flipped. He had just said, "There's no way," but I got to go back in. It was like he was being possessed by that. I love that. So it must be the little girl drawing them down there to show them this, but the little girl. If she was talking to the little girl is the one that did. Well, maybe she wasn't threatening for her. Maybe she was telling her this is what's going to happen. Maybe she's protecting her.
Well, she's trying because when they approach when Flora's in the closet, you hear her having a conversation, and she's like, "Well, no, take the doll. Can you protect me?" And she's like, "Well, at least protect me and my mommy, or protect my mommy. Take it." And then they open the door, and she's like, "What happened to Priscilla?" She's gone, and she goes, "Now she's not going to protect us." So
right. Oh, she did say that. Now she can't. Now she's not going to protect us. They're going to kill us all, and then they're going to kill me last. Oh my gosh!
Right. So, it seems like Priscilla, who is just this little girl that is caught up in this, whatever it is, just wants it to be over.
Right.
And they get to that point. So I mean, well, I don't want to say we get there, but that leads to the Dennis O'Hare thing. Well, we skipped it. So before Flora gets to the house, Matt is sleeping.
Here we are.
I'm sorry?
I said, here we are. This part and the Dennis O'Hare these are the standout moments in this episode.
So Cuba Gooding Jr. wakes up, he hears this noise, and he goes downstairs and he hears people talking. He's like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
He actually goes downstairs, the phone is ringing. And the phone rings and says, please help me, in this like old crackly voice. He picks up in typical horror film fashion.
I want to pause right here. That voice, when I listened to it a couple of times. I swear to you, it was Shelby's voice.
But it isn't. It's because we see who it is. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is.
How did we see who it was?
Because it's the same voice of the lady who's in the bed.
Is it?
Well, if you listen to it, they're talking, and then he picks up the phone and sees that the plug is there.
Yeah, yeah.
And he hangs up the phone, and the girl's like, the lady's like, please, please, I don't want to. It makes me feel bad. Or something. Whatever.
I totally thought it was Shelby, and I think I should have gone right through because I listened and I went back immediately and was like really listening to the voice. I'm like, that sounds like Shelby. I didn't watch it straight through at that point. That's probably why I didn't notice that.
Mm-hmm.
Although maybe it is Shelby's voice. Maybe they're doing something with that where we're seeing Shelby. I don't know. Maybe Shelby's that old woman. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
By the time she dies, she's the old woman. Who knows? Exactly.
This is episode 2, and my head has already exploded. I am already confused by everything, and my theories are all on the table and wrong.
Right. Well, no, I think the abduction one is still in play. I really think that Cuba Gooding Jr. and Sarah Paulson are the actual events, and then the other people are actors, but that's just me. And there's some more clues, and we can talk about that later. But so Cuba Gooding Jr., let's get back to this because I think this is thing. He listens to the phone. Some lady says, help me, help me. He picks up the phone cord and the phone's unplugged. So he's kind of spooked. And then he hears that same voice down the hallway, which I think is the same voice. He goes and there's some lady in a hospital bed sitting there going, I don't want to drink this. And there's 2 nurses who are the 2 nurses that Sarah Paulson saw before when she was walking in the house alone.
Yes. Yes.
So these 2 nurses turn out to be sisters, and we'll talk about that later. But the lady's saying, well, I don't want to drink this medicine you're giving me because it makes me sick. And the one nurse goes, are you talking back to me? And the lady in the bed goes, no. The nurse comes out, pulls out a gun, and shoots her in the head. And then the 2 nurses
crazy.
They start cackling like they're witches or whatever.
Yeah.
Just drawing that inference. And they spray paint the letter M on the wall.
Yeah. And they go, what is it, Margaret?
Margaret's for murder, for M.
Yeah, they never said murder. They said M for Margaret or Margaret for M or something like that.
Yes. M is for Margaret, and you're like, what the hell? And so then Cuba Gooding Jr. completely flips. So, but at this point in time, they do have police protection out in the driveway.
Right, and he runs out there.
So, listen to this theory, and this is something I saw on the internet. I don't know if it's right or not. The deputy who comes in is Whitrock as a guest star because he's played people before. That's a theory. They never credit him, but the theory is that to get him in the show.
I'm going to have to watch that again.
Right. If you look at it, it's hard to tell, but he's played, remember he played Dandy, and I didn't think that was him at all.
Right. Yeah, he's been really very much of a chameleon, even though he's, you know who this actor is. Each time we've seen him, it's taken a couple of episodes for me to go, oh, that's him again. Even though I think if we saw him in the wild, we know exactly who he is. I think that he is hidden a little bit when he first comes in this show. Just like I have a feeling is going to happen with, I keep drawing it blank, Quicksilver. I think when he shows up, because he was so dominant last season, I think when he shows up here, it's going to be that same kind of thing. Like he'll be one of the hillbillies. He'll be a scene. He'll be there, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, he's been here for 2-3 episodes.
Right. He's been here since day one, and you're like, huh? So but that's the theory. It's not substantiated. He hasn't been credited in the show, but that would be like him. Well, because Chaz wasn't.
Yeah.
Right?
I wonder if Evan Peters is Piggy. I wonder if this whole time we've been seeing him, and then they're going to pull off the pig head, and you're going to go, oh.
He'll have lobster hands. It'll be great.
Lobster hands. Yeah. They bring him back. Yeah.
He'll live long and prosper, except for that. So
yeah, right.
So they see these murders. Now, fast forwarding to the Dennis O'Hare scene, basically Dennis O'Hare went to the house to investigate, to write this true life murder book about these 2 nurses who were these bad people. Yeah,
they set up shop and they brought people in, old people, and killed them.
Right. And he goes, I got a copy of the diary of one of the sisters, and it was like total crazy gibberish that they were talking about, and I'm doing this, and every time we kill somebody, it's going to give us more power and all. It was like all that crazy stuff, and that's what he was there to see. But the sisters never finished what they were doing because they only got to MURDE. They never got to do the last R.
And what happened? Why were they taken out of there? And I like how he says, I think something bigger and badder that was here stopped them. Not to stop them because you're doing something wrong,
Right.
it took charge.
And this goes back to kind of what happened in Hotel, because Holmes never completed his great American serial killer, and he had to get somebody else to do it. So that kind of goes right back to the last show where they tie him in. Not that that's the direct link that they do.
Right. But there are things that we keep noticing that seem familiar.
Right.
And then let's just wrap it up with these nurses. We see them again after this.
Yes.
When Lee is in bed after she's gotten, fallen off the wagon, she's laying there.
Right.
This scene also, I had to go back and watch when he walks out of the room, and as he's walking out, the nurses walk in and look at Lee. I was like, that was so well done. It was so scary. That was awesome.
It's like, nice knowing you, Angela.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was great. And then we also had, you know what? I was thinking of something here. There's two more. We keep talking about the movies that we're seeing in here. I have two more. One, when they showed the house from the outside, it was the house, and there was something else. It was when they were talking about how they won't get their money back, and the bank guy was like, it has nothing to do with us. And it's like, we were rooked into buying this place. The Conjuring. I was getting Conjuring. But the other one I got was the one you just mentioned, which was when Dennis O'Hare came here to write a true crime book about these murders, and then crap got real. Did you ever see the movie Sinister?
No.
Got to see this movie. It's really good. Kevin Bacon is a writer. He brings his family. They move into a house.
Yeah, now that you say it, I've seen that, yes.
And he writes true crime novels, and he doesn't tell his wife why they're there. And it turns out they happened in this house, and then it's like a demon thing. And it's like, it's crazy. It's really good. So I got that off of this too.
So this is, now that we're at the Dennis O'Hare where he says something bigger is there.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out there. What if Kathy Bates isn't the biggest baddie in the house, and they're just another group of bad people that are being supplanted by something that's even more evil?
Or maybe they're trapped there just like the nurses are.
Right.
Whatever's big and bad did
so like
to
Hotel
them.
all over again, where all these people are forced to live in this house, die there and that maybe is where that swamp thing comes into play.
And the whole Roanoke, they disappeared. Right. And think about it. They disappeared. In the real story of Roanoke, they disappeared. They came back, and there was nobody there, just the word Roanoke, right?
Right.
In with the nurses, they got all the way to the R, and they disappeared before they could get to R.
Right.
They disappeared, and nobody knows, it's without a trace. There's just kind of crazy theories.
Right.
That might be what's going on. There's something bigger trapping them there, and they're playing out their thing again and again, similar to Hotel.
Yeah.
And maybe
also, and it's kind of similar to Coven, where there's a lot of demonic stuff happening that's probably lurking around there. So
true. I mean, you start to see these parallels. You start understanding kind of what their storytelling mechanisms are. But you know what? First of all, I'm not getting tired of those. I like them. No. Second of all, I think this is exciting. We're getting so many twists, so many different things happening. And once again, I mean, the acting in this. I mean, Dennis O'Hare crushed it.
Well, Cuba Gooding Jr. is crushing it, and so is Sarah Paulson.
Yeah,
they're crazy. Well, and then is it 23? Is it the movie 23 with Jim Carrey where he has the stuff written on the wall, but it's behind the wallpaper? And then
I've never seen it.
No, I think that's what it is, and maybe Danette knows. I can't remember.
I think it's Room 23. Is that the name of it?
Right.
Something.
I don't know. I thought it was just 23 because it's 23 words, 23.
It might
There's
be.
that room something with it's with Jim Carrey, but there's something that's behind the wallpaper. So Dennis O'Hare goes back in the house, getting back to the video. This is about 2/3 of the way through the episode, or maybe 3/4.
Got it. It's called the number 23.
Number 23. So it's he goes back in the room to confront the great evil, and then again as he pans into the mirror, who shows up? That's the scary part, and I hate those. I
know, and you knew it was coming too, and you're like,
I knew it was coming. I'm just like sitting there watching.
It's gonna happen.
But Kathy Bates shows up, and then the video cuts or they stop it.
Yes,
and it was like, yes, there she is, and you see her now.
Plus, we had the bloody cleaver in the door. But that was what?
That's later, isn't it?
I don't remember where that is, but I'm just thinking of the moments that came up like that.
No, that's after they stop. That's after they stop the video, and then from the basement.
Then they hear the clunk, and they find the cleaver in the door with the blood. Oh my gosh! what else do we have in this one?
Well, and so then after all of this happens and they're completely freaked out, they're like, we're leaving, we're getting out of here. We might fight them, but we don't know what's going on. In comes Lee back with her daughter.
Okay, like, wait.
Bad choices after bad choices.
It's Bad Choice Theater. Here comes Lee. Unbelievable. Now, when this happened, I thought that she was going to have been possessed because she seemed like she was kind of blanked out on it.
Well, maybe
but then she was no, because then she was real reasonable about it. She's like, "Look, this is what's going on." She's like, like to me, this was a bad choice. You know what? We've got a new drinking game for this show. Every time there's a bad choice, take a drink. You will be done.
Oh, yeah.
By the end of an episode.
It's like, hey, Bob, you'd be done after 5 minutes in this show.
Right.
It's like, bad choice. Well, yeah,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
Why would she? The kid told her about the murder thing. The kid has been in danger. Why? It's nuts.
Because, I think the one theory we talked about last time is maybe this is all in her dementia of being an alcoholic, and maybe this is all in her kind of head a little bit. And so, of course, she just is worried about herself and her sanity. She's like, well, I need to see my daughter. That's why I brought her back. It doesn't matter if something happens to my daughter or something happens to you.
Right.
This is what's right for me because I'm struggling with my.
It could be.
So she just goes in there and does that. But she brings Floor Black. It's like Floor on that.
Crazy.
Exactly. And then, here's Sarah Paulson being a very reasonable and very good sister-in-law trying to diffuse the situation.
She's really decent. Yes.
Yeah. And so they leave Flora alone in the living room while they're trying to work all this out, talk to the ex-husband, get it all settled out. Everybody's okay. But then Flora's looking outside the window and the little girl's outside beckoning her out. So, of course, what happens? They go back to find Flora. Flora disappears.
Yeah.
So they, of course, freak out because they see the doors open. So they go running into the woods. Another bad choice.
Another bad choice.
This should be American Horror Story Bad Choices.
Right. Instead of Roanoke, Bad Choice.
So,
we need a T-shirt, American Horror Story Bad Choices.
Roanoke, a series of bad and unfortunate choices.
Right.
Yeah. So they go out running and looking for Flora, and they're running around. And, of course, there's a lot of stuff because they're in the woods and there's hedges and bushes. Something's going to pop out. They do the little scare tactic where it's actually Cuba Gooding Jr., but
coming out of the thing. I also thought they were going to get lost in there, and it was going to do one of those things like what happened here in the first one, where all of a sudden they're like, "I only went a few feet in. Where am I?" I thought they were going to do that, but they didn't.
Well, they've been in there 20 times by now, so at least you would think they would know 50 feet from their house. Sorry, that's just me.
But if somehow they're stepping into another dimension or something, which is what I think happened the first time, they step into it, and it's like, the road should be 5 feet away. Why is it not there? Exactly. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. Didn't happen, although we haven't seen how it plays out yet because...
Right. Well, because they get it there, and Lee is screaming. They run over to Lee. They look up this tall, barren tree, and there's the windbreaker, or the sweatshirt that Flora was wearing, hanging from the top, basically with no Flora, just the sweatshirt, and they're all screaming.
And it's like that tree was like a mile tall, and it's just hanging up there. That was the creepiest tree. That was crazy.
Yeah,
it was so great.
It was nutty, but you're like there, and then of course, you're hearing pigs squealing. But is that really pig squealing, or because they've established that there's wild pigs running around? Because when Cuba Gooding Jr. is running in the woods, they just show a pig running by. It was like a live pig. It was like it wasn't a boar, but it was a pig.
Right.
So there's all sorts of
the pig running by.
Right. Exactly. Well, I mean, that was a great scare tactic. It
was great. The other creepy thing that they kept doing, and it looked kind of cheesy, but it was fantastic, was all the pigtails hanging off.
Well,
and they're bloody, and they're just kind of going like that.
Because, I mean, it's obvious that that's how they punish people for stealing. They treat them like pigs and they're selfish. So
they pin the tail on the piggy.
People have been killed.
Yeah.
Because I originally thought when I saw it there were going to be 5 pigtails for MURDE.
Yeah.
But there were 7. I think it's 7. So does that mean that's how many people have been killed? Does that mean what?
Or does that mean if we start adding up main characters by the end of the series, will there be 7 that will get the pigtail stuck to them?
Right.
Which the other thing we might see is as they uncover that these pigtail things are happening this way, what if we get a shot of like the sheriff, he's coming out of the water and we see he's got the pigtail scar.
Right.
You know, there's a possibility of that too, that we're going to find out, hey, people that we didn't know were involved with these people are involved because they were branded with this pigtail.
Right.
It's a possibility.
Maybe. There's a possibility there, but there's more. You know, I was trying to draw some connection to be like, oh, this is what happened. Well,
yeah.
It didn't happen like that, but that's how the episode ends. And that was it. So.
All right. We got 2 more little bits of business to do.
Yes.
Number 1, we have had a suggestion from Danette, which we are totally going to do starting right now.
Right now?
Right now. She suggested that we need a bad choice of the week segment on the show.
Nice.
So right now, bad choice of the week. I'll put a little sound effect in there. Maybe not that.
Bringing Flora back is obviously the bad choice.
I vote for the same thing. It was the choice to bring her back. There were a million bad choices, but that was the worst. That was the worst of the worst.
Can we have the wheel of bad choices? And
wheel of bad choices and see which one it lands on? That was the worst. So the bad choice of the week is bringing Flora back.
Yes.
All right. Chris, why don't you give your social media real quick?
Absolutely. I can be found at www.theblueboxcafe.com or at Bluebox Cafe or Bluebox Cafe 176 on social media.
You can see it right there on the screen. You can follow the show on Twitter at Disturbed Pod. You can also find us on Facebook. Just look up Disturbed Podcast. Find us also on what else? We have other social media. Well, Southgate Media Group is on Instagram. It's on YouTube, obviously. Any place like that. We also have a number of different Facebook pages too, and for Southgate Media Group itself. Here's the important stuff for those of you that like this show. This Saturday, October 1st, Disturbed will be live at the Blue Box Cafe for part of our podcast marathon. It's 14 hours of podcast. It's going to be awesome. I think, what are we, at 11 o'clock or something? You know what?
11 or 12, I think.
Yeah, the best thing to do is follow us on social media. You can see the lineup. Go to Kickstarter. On our Kickstarter, which just ended, we put the lineup on there, and you'll see what time Disturbed is supposed to be on. We will not be streaming it on YouTube, but later that show will be edited and made available to you on YouTube. It will also be a podcast, but it will be streaming on Periscope. So just look up Southgate Media Group. I believe it's one word on Periscope, and you'll find us there. Or if everything works in our favor, we're really hoping all this does, it'll be on Facebook Live. Go to Southgate Media Group on Facebook, and the entire thing should be streaming that day.
Do you have enough battery? Do you have enough cord?
I'm going to have cords and power all over the place. It's going to be crazy. And we're filming everything, so we, like I said, we can edit it down. It should all be HD, too, so it should be – I just can't wait. This is going to be fantastic. Going to be fantastic.
It's going to be wonderful. I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah.
I'm not looking forward to being there all day, but I'm looking forward to the event. So.
But you know what? By the end, you'll be like, oh, I'm so tired. Should we do another hour? I know you, Chris.
Oh, it will be.
You're going to stand there and want to talk. I'm going to be like dragging stuff out. You're going to be like, yeah, let's talk a little more.
Right. I have to open the restaurant before you get there.
Yeah.
So,
well, what time do you have to get there?
6 probably.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see you at 7.
Could be like 7:20. We're running late.
7:21. That'd be awesome. All right, let's end this. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for watching. Those of you that watched, we will be back next week, same time. 7:15 is when we're supposed to start. It's right around there, right here on the YouTube channel. And then this gets edited down. Some of the stuff is taken out of it, and it will become a podcast, which maybe I think is available tomorrow. That's it. So we came up with a good ending. What was it? You screamed, and what did I say?
I don't know.
Time to check out.
That's horrible. That's
not
awful.
Yeah.
But it's an ending, so